Welcome back to Blue Collar Speed and Repair. So last video we did a bunch of electrical, trying to finally get the shop kind of dialed in order. So got our box in, ran our outlets all the way around. If you haven't watched that video yet, check it out. Got a few things to button up still. You can see the coil there. Still planning on doing an elevator for the loft, so I've got a chunk of wire there to run up to there, up in the peak somewhere. Haven't decided how that's going to work out exactly yet. Got a same with up here. We got wire ran for lift, so that's got to be terminated in a box, and then when we do the lift, we'll get to that. But went this morning, spent a couple hours out, and bought a bunch of wood. So sheeting for the walls, just regular old OSB, 4x6s for the uprights for our loft, of course a bunch of framing stuff, and 3/4 inch for the sheeting on the loft itself. So I think we're going to start in this corner. We got to do a little bit of prep work. So we're putting a sheet here. Obviously the plan is to have it basically at that point, but obviously there's nothing to attach to. So we got some 2x2 or 1.5 by 1.5. So we're gonna have to mount those in here, cut those to fit. We're gonna have to trim the styrofoam back just a little bit. So around the doors and each of the corners. And the plan was each of these uprights are 5 feet across, or 5 feet apart rather. So I was going to do 10-foot sheets, two 10-foot sheets laid sideways, but they didn't have any. They had 8 feet. So we got 1x2s that we were going to strip this way and basically make like a lathing or kind of like a purlin to attach our boards to. So those are also only 8 feet long, so we'll have to do some trickery there, but we'll figure it out. So I got a bunch of saws I got to get out still, get kind of set up, and we'll get going here. All right, starting on our corner here, we bought 2x2 boards, which basically come out to 1.5 inches. So we need to trim where there's like thicker styrofoam down a little bit. So just going to kind of haphazardly cut this. Just so we have some room here. Razor blade's not really long enough, but gets the point across. All right. All right, I'm going to do the top real quick, and then we'll start cutting some boards. All right, got that all cleaned up. Already measured, I think roughly 3 feet and 3 feet should do what we need to do. I got these, they're self-tapping into the metal. What do we got here? think we just drill one at either end. Like that. And a Phillips bit.
There was one in the screw gun.
Yep.
I just didn't want it to blow away.
Good thing you just swept.
Yep.
So basically, that's kind of the idea. Just give us an attachment point for our OSB that we're putting up. There's the grease. I haven't used these screws before, so hopefully.
Hopefully they don't come through the trim.
Huh?
I said hopefully they don't come through the trim.
Trim.
Yeah, on the other side of the metal.
No, they won't.
Okay.
Something like that. So.
It's very loud.
Yep. So we're gonna do another one up top. And then we gotta clean up this corner. And then we gotta do, well, we'll start here. Then we gotta run our 1-bys around. So let's get, we'll get this cleaned up, get this installed, and we'll show you guys the next step we got planned here. So we got both sides in. The next step, can I see that? Again, because these aren't, these are more than 48 inches wide, which is wider than our plywood. The plan is to make like a kind of a purlin across, which this side is actually, this section is actually less than 48 inches. So we could just put plywood up here, but for consistency and to support the middle a little bit, this one is warped to heck. All right, so we got enough of this stuff to do. We can attach at the bottom, obviously, and do 1, 2, 3 strips. So it doesn't really matter exactly where they are, although we should do some kind of consistency. And I also didn't plan out and didn't put these all the way to the top. So the full 8 feet. So kind of wherever that is where we're going to start and go from there. Hopefully this board doesn't split. Okay. That's nowhere near level. Good enough? Only like 14 inches off?
Can't really see. It's probably fine.
Something in that area. Again, let's just hold the board. Got it. Where the, can I have the other two, please?
We're gonna measure.
You said we didn't measure.
Well,
You said haphazardly throw them up there, so that's what I was gonna
I
do.
didn't say that. I never
did.
said haphazardly throw. I don't even know how to spell that. I don't know what haphazardly means.
Well, this isn't working. Need to move that one.
You know what we need to do? Measure.
You are 0 feet, sir.
Where's the tape measure? We'll do some math. It's right here.
All right, let's do some math.
All right.
Math time. Math class.
Go here. Go to the bottom. Oh,
So far, it's working great.
should I? The problem is I'm not tall enough. There. There we go. Maybe.
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna slink it down James Bond style. So approximately,
Call it 90 inches.
call it 90 inches.
So every 30, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, there's a problem with that, though.
What?
Measure down 30 inches.
Seem to be in a predicament. Well, hear me out. What if we just started throwing boards up haphazardly? So I guess we move this one up a couple inches.
Alright.
Or I move this one. No, can't now. Well, the only problem is this is in the way. So what do we do? Do we just put one here and then just put one at 30 and then it's just going to be uneven? Like, it's just going to be a straight...
It's just a board on the wall. I don't care how even the screws are.
It's just, okay, sure. So you put one here, put one 30 inches up from the bottom, and call it good?
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Move tape measure.
One
Where's low? Is it down on the
here,
ground?
I guess.
Yep.
You dropped it.
You are right in the way. All right. Did you guys get all that? Basically, there's no plan. All right. We've had a team discussion. Originally, we had planned on screwing the boards directly to the bottom base plate, the metal base plate. But something we overlooked was now that we've added these strips or these purlins or whatever you want to call them, the boards will be spaced out away from the bottom roughly 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to add another strip across the bottom, the metal strip there to attach to. We're going to do one at the bottom, one in the middle, one at the top, but I would rather have this supported, so we'll move this one up a little bit. I'd rather have some support. So he's cutting another one, and we're gonna put it at the bottom. I'm gonna sweep this stuff up real quick. Move this board, and she is out cutting the plywood for this section. So we'll get that up next. All right, so we added strip across the bottom, so we have four total now. We have a piece of plywood cut to width. Now, I am spacing up the bottom a hair, just, you know, grinder sparks or whatever, so it won't kind of sit and smolder. So, 48 inches. Got to measure for this box because it's got to cut the wood around it. So, 4 inches, 4 1/4. So if you guys could just stand it straight up and just slide it right through here. And then add our little spacer block.
Watch your fingers.
Kind of like that.
Perfecto.
Kind of, sort of, ish, kind of.
All right. First board installed. Like I said, this is more or less just to protect the spray foam and give us an attachment point. I did mount this one backwards by mistake. The smoother side is on the inside, but whatever. Again, left a space at the bottom. Sparks flying, whatever. I don't want them to sit like under the edge of the board and kind of smolder. So, I mean, there's like fireproof silicones and all that stuff we could have used, but this should do it just fine. So we're gonna turn the fan on because it's freaking hot in here and put you guys in fast motion and just knock this wall out. All right, so got part of it done. Round to there. So got the whole rest of it, whole other side, basically half-ish done. We got a late start today, so we're all really hot and really tired. So we're gonna call it a night. We'll see you guys in the morning. Turned out pretty good. It all cut in around the outlets we installed. A couple of the outlets sticking out a little farther, but you know, that's all right. So today's project is going to do that side, which I'm not looking forward to moving everything. Hopefully we can get started on the loft today as well. It's going to be another hot one, but we'll push through. So we got to move a bunch of stuff around, obviously. Start getting these boards, these OSB boards mounted up. It's pretty much the same stuff over and over and over again. Cut, screw, attach, all that stuff. So probably just going to knock it out, not really record too much of it. If there's anything of a note, we'll bring you guys back. Change of plans. So went and got paint. While they're kind of moving stuff over here and starting the wood on this side, I think I'm going to go ahead and start painting these walls. We're taping off the outlets. Hopefully that way it's dry, or at least dry enough that I can kind of put stuff in place on this side. So we don't have to move everything several times. So
Well, the rain shuffle isn't working either.
yeah, and it's threatening to rain again today too. So we're going to use porch and patio paint. Stuff seems to work pretty good. We've used it before. It should be fairly resilient, and it's kind of a grayish color. It's really close to like the outside walls, kind of like this, but you know, just a little bit darker. So I've been going back and forth on painting just the OSB or painting absolutely everything. I think we're just going to start with the OSB, and then everything kind of be in place. If we want to like drape plastic over everything and paint everything up top later, we can. But for now, I think we're just going to do, like I said, just the OSB walls. And when we do the loft, we'll probably do the decking or the flooring on that to kind of protect it from stuff. So I do have a like an airless paint sprayer deal, and I got this thing. It needs to be cleaned, obviously, but so you can like put it up against something and paint against. We got this when we finished our basement at our last house. It worked really well. So that's the plan. I'm just going to start blasting paint on these walls while she's kind of moving stuff around. Jesse should be out here pretty soon, and get rocking. Already spilled paint. Already got paint on my hands. Haven't even started. I got the gun deal loaded up. I started cleaning this thing up. Got bored, got lazy, and didn't clean it very well, but let's give this a shot. I'm gonna make a mess. I already know it. All right, we'll see how well this covers, see if it soaks in. Probably needed a second coat here in a little bit. I'm just gonna get rocking. Have at it. good news and bad news. Good news is wall's all painted. Bad news is I spent all that time, energy, money to get the water out of the shop, or keep the water out of the shop. We're working over in this corner where the sink is. And hit the water line that goes to the outside spigot. So there's water all the way around, all the way over to that corner. So now we get to spend a bunch of time mopping and cleaning up before we can continue on with the wood. Perfect. Just another day. All right, got this whole side cleared off. Very neatly stacked it behind us. Over here, it's a mess. There's a lot of crap. You never know how much crap you have till you start moving it around. But so we're getting the sink out of the way real quick. The water line's out. So the sink's moved. We're gonna continue on more of the same. So a little change up. That since we're running these boards across, originally we had put like the block all the way down. There's really no point, so we're just doing a smaller block where these end up. And so smaller blocks, we gotta clean the foam out, put the 2-inch square block in 3 spots, continue with the lashing, and continue on. It's more of the same stuff over and over and over again, but we're obviously halfway-ish done now, so we're going to continue on, and then I'm really excited to get this loft started. All right, moving along here, got in the corner done. Quick update. I just wanted to point this out. I left a gap on either side of the the box here in case we want to run any other circuits in the future. We can we have access to the holes and stuff, and we can just drop down from the top. So kind of help future-proof here a little bit. Again, who knows what we might add later. So I figured a little access would be nice, and then we can just trim that out with some more board or whatever, and make it purty. So all right, we're gonna keep trucking along. All right, new day. Got all the wood up and painted last night for this south wall. It got a little funky. The gap at the bottom of the wall was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You can see this corner here. We got probably over an inch. And we actually, I don't know how well this shows up, but we actually like stepped these down a hair. Just the way it worked out. I don't know. I'm sure this wall isn't square. I'm sure the cement isn't level. The other side wall, we actually had to trim off the bottom of the boards as we got to this side. So who knows? Maybe we can get the boards up square, whatever. So today, I'm gonna start with, I think, moving this. When I had set this light switch in place here, I didn't take into account that there's going to be a post for our loft. So we're gonna end up pulling this out. I ran it through the track there, which I don't like it up against it the way it is right now anyway. So I think we're gonna pull it out, run it down next to it. We did end up, lights are off, did end up running, talked about before, not putting an outlet back by this back door. I did go ahead and run a wire. I decided to go ahead and have one there anyway. Since walls weren't up yet, I figured we had the extra wire, we just ran it. So let's get this kind of set up, and then we've got 4x6 posts to put up, and we've got these deals. So those, and some anchors. So we'll get those anchored in, start building walls, or excuse me, framing. The plan is to have 4 posts across the front. Let's see if I can get a better shot here. So obviously one here in the corner, 10 feet, 10 feet, and then the back wall. On the back, it's going to be corner 12 feet up, corner 12 feet up, and then there'll be roughly 6 feet in the middle. So I'm planning on doing the elevator here, right at this peak, and it'll be roughly 6 feet wide by 3 feet deep. So when we frame out the loft, we'll have to leave basically a hole in that, and we'll discuss that a little bit more. But for now, we're gonna kind of get set up. We're gonna kind of get things set up, and start setting posts. All right, so we got these 4x6 braces, or stands, anchors, whatever you want to call them. So basically you go right up against the door. So the downside is, borrow this for a sec. The wall will be, or the post will be right in line with this edge of the door. So if you have a car here, you gotta be conscious of the post there, but there's really no other way to do it. So again, we're limited space, so we need to redo this.
I'm gonna have electrical tape right here, close. And there's 2 tape measures.
All right, so I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape on here. I want these roughly 2.5 inches deep. No, 3 inches deep, sorry. So basically at the end of that, again, we're not going for exact. Nothing I do is exact, so trying to keep the stud or anchor at or below this point here. So I'm just gonna put this on as a marker, if I can figure it out with my bum finger. Three-ish inches. So now when I drill this, I can just stop at that tape mark. So, and on hammer, we are. See how well this stuff drills. This should be fine. This is just, it's not supporting any load. It's just to keep the post from moving around. So. May have to go a hair deeper on the others. We'll have to grind that off, but that's it. I mean, like I said, that's just to keep the post from moving around. That's its only purpose. So I'm not going to bore you. We're just going to set these other 7, and then we'll get back when we're setting the posts in. All right, we got all our whatever you call these things, post holder, inner concrete anchor thingies in. Whatever, yeah, bases. Don't snicker at me. All right, so what we did, no, I guess this side's a little easier to show, but outside edge. So the outside edge of that post to the outside edge of this post will be 12 feet. Same with that one. This side, we did 10 feet from the outside of the post to the center of this, what'd you call it?
Base plate?
Post base plate. Too smart. We did a chalk line. I don't know how well you can see it. I mean, you can measure and square it all out and all that, but well, I had a chalk line, so I used it. So 10 feet from the outside edge, 10 feet to the center of this one, And then these base plates are 10 feet center to center. And then this is whatever's left over. So this building is 30 feet deep, but that is outside of the frame to outside of the frame. Plus we added obviously some depth for the walls and whatnot. So next up, I think we're gonna frame up these 4x6s are getting two 2x10 by 12 feet, obviously, across the top, there and there. And then this will get the same thing at 2x10 by 10 foot across. So we got to cut some posts to length real quick. And then we're actually going to notch the post so that the framing sits in it or on top of it instead of just nailing to the side of it. Should be stronger that way. So we got to get the saw outside so we have some room to work and get rocking here. All right, outside here, we've got the saw set up. So we need to cut these down. These are 10 feet long total. We are going to use, the idea is that the bottom of the 2x10s that are going to go across these will be 8 feet. So we need 8 feet to the bottom, and then we need to add on for our 2x10, which is the way lumber works. You can see that. It's 9 1/4 wide. So we need 8 feet plus 9 1/4 inches. We should probably turn around and cut that end off. 8 feet, come here. 8 feet, 96 inches, plus 9, 105 1/4. Right? Is that math right?
Yeah.
Think?
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. All right, so let's spin this around. Got a hold of it?
Yep.
And you can do this with a skill saw, obviously. It wouldn't go all the way through, but you can cut it, measure the other side, flip it over, and cut it again. But all the projects over the years, we're able to buy this. Sure made life a lot easier. So. I'm gonna get really good blocks out of it too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's transfer it over here. So now I'm gonna notch this for our 9 1/4 inches. Here. Because again, I want the 2x10s to sit on top. On top of the post instead of just nailing to the side. So if we go 9 1/4, where's that square at? You know?
That's on the trailer?
Oh. 1 second.
On the floor inside.
Oh, where it is. I got the big one.
Okay. Forgot the skill set.
9 1/4, and then we need to go, these should be, we should have the right at 1.5 inches, and we're doing 2, so 3 inches deep. So skill saw, we are
On the
completely
floor in there.
unprepared.
Well, it kind of got thrown in when it started pouring.
So we're going to set this. Oh, this doesn't do 3 inches. That's 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You could always do the table saw.
Not for this, no. All right.
You want to plug it in?
That would help. Don't fall. So we're gonna have to get fancy with a sawzall, I think. Should be good.
Those boards are wet.
Yep. So now, that's not going to leave anything.
Nope, you kind of almost.
No,
the
wait,
entire top.
wait. I did this wrong. You need to be cutting this side.
So you use this for the opposite side of the wall?
Oh, hell. It's all right.
Opposite corner?
Okay. It's going to be okay.
Measure twice, cut once.
Cut it twice. It's still too short. It's all right. It's still going to work in my pea brain.
Okay, but can't you just use it for the other side?
What?
Okay.
I don't know what you're saying, but no. I like to do everything wrong the first time, just to be sure. All right, so now we need to measure 3 inches here.
Next time we do it wrong, can we do it with like one of the 1x2s? Use like
Either.
a pencil.
I
Yeah,
don't have
marker.
a razor blade. Okay, marker will work. Marker it is. All right, so we need 3 inches. Giant. That's loud. Gigantic square. So go down to 3 there. Down to 3 here. Give or take. This doesn't have to be exact. I mean, honestly. It's wood. It's fine. It'll all screw together at the end of the day. Oh, I've got a marker. So, oh, let's remove that though. So, tricky part will be trying to cut a straight line with a sawzall. So now, try to put the end out here to get us started. Alright, now we gotta get the sawzall out and see if we can cut this. I'm gonna go ahead and continue these lines down so we have less to cut. finish this cut here. Fingers. There we go. So now, since I already cut this, I need to cut 1.5 inches out of this side for the end 2x10. So this one will go in the back corner, if that makes sense. I'll show you when we get in there. Kind of like that. So now we need to repeat that process, but we only need to cut this side out. Make sense?
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah, I guess so.
Make sense? Okay. All right. Let's cut this. We'll be back. We'll cut the other one. We'll be back. All right, got these laid out. These are, again, 2x10, 12 feet long. We had to cut them down like 1 inch or so. This is the one we notched originally. These are gonna have 2x8 joists. I did notch for that on this end. I'll show you when we get to that point. So we're gonna lay this on here, lay one on, screw it down. And then I think we have some construction adhesive that we can lay between the two and sandwich them together, kind of make a beam basically. This end. All right, that's the start of our frame. So we're gonna take this, what is this stuff? Heavy duty construction adhesive. Did you already poke the end? You did, okay. I'm gonna lay some on here, kind of make this a laminated beam sort of. This stuff is a pain to deal with though.
I'll let you do it. My hands are short. That looks way easier than the last one we used it. I kind of want to do it just because it's so easy.
Okay. Oh man, we gotta mess with that magnet. All right, so those are gonna glue together. I'm gonna run a handful of screws down this just to kind of lock everything together. Once the glue dries, that'll be more or less what holds it. But put some screws to kind of keep it in place, and then we'll stand this thing up. It's gonna go from this corner to this post base. All right, put a handful of screws in. Now we're gonna try to stand this thing up and see how that goes. There's only the two of us right now, so.
We're still to all of your dad's shop when we built that.
I know. That was 2x4 construction though.
We were also
All right.
significantly younger.
Significantly. All right. Get towards the end so we can get the post. Ready? One,
Yep.
2, 3. Let the bottom slide up against the wall.
Yep. I'm almost there.
There we go. There it is. Now we need to go that way.
Hold on. Hold on.
Careful.
Ouch.
Okay, can you get that up and in there? You think?
My next try. On top. I'm in. I'm just gonna help me in. Need a hammer or something. I don't have enough leverage between the sink and the wall to do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if you get the sink more or the wood more.
I don't really care. I'm not left-handed.
Okay.
Mine's in further. I just want you to know that.
Now, I am positive that these walls aren't square. So,
All right, put some screws in this thing.
we should probably, that's for level this bit. Oh my
There's a level
god.
right there. Okay. Big one right there in the boxes.
In the boxes, okay. It's pretty close right there. All right, first section is in. It went a little easier than I thought, actually. It wasn't too bad. So again, once we have this post here, we have a slot for the end 2x10 to go into. And then all the joists are gonna be 2x8s, like I said. And we have a notch here for this one to go into. So I think we're gonna real quick knock out this one. Both back wall sides are up. Went pretty good. We did get these uprights pretty level. I don't know how well that shows up, but both these came out pretty good. So wasn't sure how that was going to work out with the way this wall's not square, or building's not square. So you can see my different gaps across the top. I was kind of hoping this would be down a hair, and I guess I could have cut it down a little bit to cover that, but you know, whatever, doesn't really matter. So she's doing a 47-point turn out there. She's gonna go get us some lunch real quick, and then we're gonna set these front posts in and start finishing up the rest of the frame. When we put our joists in, and we're close to done. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, we got our posts notched and ready to go. So very similar to what we did on the back. We're notched for 2 2x10 face boards and 1 2x10 to run front to back or end out or whatever you want to call it. These are for the middle. The other one there, we did cut our 2x10 end pieces down to length. We are off, it's about 3/4 of an inch or so longer on this side, so it'll be a little cattywampus, but you know, like I said, building's not square, cement's not level. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So try to get it as level and as true as we can, so it's not all, it's not all doing this, but get it as straight as we can and see how it goes. Sure, that's how we want this post. plan was to put the post right up against the frame of the door. We did not take into account the bracket up top that the door rolls on. So we just moved it back. It's off the base a hair. It's all screwed in. It's not going anywhere. I'm not too worried about it. So we also mismeasured, and I ran that 2x10 all the way out to this edge, which it was supposed to stop at the notch. So cut that out real quick. She's knocking the 3 inches out of that one real quick. And then we're gonna get that post and these two posts set real quick. Real quick, everything's real quick around here. All right, we're gonna get some construction adhesive on here, and I think we're gonna start the 10 feet from this side so the seams don't overlap. I mean, they won't be even with the post, but I don't care. So we're gonna knock that out real quick and probably take a break, get some water. All right, took a little break, skipped ahead just a little bit. Went and got our switch back in. So we have some lights over here. Got the outlet installed in the back corner. We got these cross braces in, or joists in. This is where a hole is going to be essentially for an elevator. So I think next step we'll probably put this cross piece in, and then go along and starting probably from that end. Mark 16 on, starting on that end, we'll mark 16 inches on center. I'm getting tired. See where we end up, but 16 inches all the way down. Start hanging joists and brackets, and we're getting close to the finish line here, so bear with us. Up on the scaffolding here. Plan was for 5 or 6 feet wide. I think we're 5.5 or 5 foot 5 inches, something like that, by 3 feet deep. I think I'm going to mark out 40 inches so I have enough room for whatever I do for bracing or bracketry or whatever for the elevator. So take marker. Mark 40 inches here. All right. Having trouble. 40 on that side. So we're using these joist hangers. Things are actually pretty cool. You get 3 screws in each side and then toenail 2 in each side. So essentially 10 screws on either end of the board, obviously. It makes it super strong. All right, so that's what it looks like once it's all installed. So because this is not double joist or double plated like this is, I had to use shorter screws. So I added some extra 3-inch screws directly into the end of this board on both sides. This isn't structural, it's not holding up a building, it's just for storage. Nobody's gonna be up here, you know, hanging out or anything like that. It should be just fine. So again, I'm gonna start at that end, mark 16-inch centers. We're gonna start cutting boards and just sticking them in here. All right, got the framing all done, at least, well, 95-ish%. Ran out of 3-inch screws, so we had to leave a few out of each one, but it's up enough until we can go get some more. The only kind of iffy spot, or not really iffy, but tomfoolery we had to do was we ended up right on the post on this one. So I just folded it over, should be fine. So we also have all the cutoffs out there eventually, or later on, next day off I get or whatever. Probably gonna cut those at 45-degree angles, brace all this in. You know, the side plate boards to the posts. It's just a little bit moving, or a little bit movement there. So
Once we get that sheeting done, it should strengthen it.
yeah, once we get the plywood on, it should strengthen a little bit. And I might kind of tie it into the wall here or there, but you know, this metal building kind of flexes around too. So it's been a long few days, but we're almost there. So we're gonna get this sheathing knocked out. This should go fairly quick. Of course, that's what I've thought about everything so far. It's been a long, what are we, we are day 3 on the walls and the loft. And if you watched the last video on the electrical, it was the 2 days before that. So we're 5 days, full days out here in the heat. And it's wearing on us. So home stretch, like I said, the cutoff ends, putting the 45-degree or the 45 angles in and bracing, that can be done whenever. I'm not too worried about it. And we have extra boards that we're going to use, 2x6s to do kind of like a top rail across the posts up front. We're not sure what we're going to do in between there yet. There's, you know, a million options, whether we just get board slats and stick them in there or find something kind of cool. We'll see. All right. We're up high. So first sheets are going down. Got a couple over here in the corner. We're down cutting the next one to go around the elevator shaft, the elevator area. So pretty straightforward stuff. Trying to keep it as square as possible. You can see I'm in line there all the way across. Well, I'm off a hair, but you see kind of how out of square this building kind of is. But, you know, it's okay. Day 4 of our project here. This is going on longer than I expected, but projects usually do. So we started laying sheeting last night, and surprise, surprise, nothing square. We kind of knew that was going to happen, or I did, just given, like for instance, the wall on this side, we started at 1/2 inch off the ground, and we're quite a bit more than that at this back side. So building's not square, cement's not level, you know, it is what it is. So we spent a little time this morning, kind of squaring up a little bit. The only thing I'm real concerned about is the opening here for the elevator. So we know these two posts are level up and are plumb up and down now. We put a little bit of spacing in there. I'm probably gonna run, we have an extra 2x8, I think. I'll probably run it across, attach it to either side, and then attach it to the wall so this can't move back and forth. Other than that, on the top of these posts, we ran these joists. We had to adjust them slightly. I don't know if you can, because of the light, I don't know if you can see the holes. We had to move it over 3/4 of an inch or so, square that up. So I'm not too concerned with the rest of it. Like I said, this isn't like living quarters, or, you know, we're not putting a bathroom or kitchen or nothing like that up there. It's just storage space. I think it'll be plenty strong and plenty structurally safe. Like I said, it's just storage, and I'm pretty much going to line like the outside edges with shelves or some kind of shelving. It's going to be containers and stuff like that. So if I have this thing completely full, then I have too much junk, which I have too much junk anyway, but who doesn't? So we're going to continue on. We do have the first board now locked in place. This one's just sitting there. This one's just got a couple screws in it. We got that one cut out, so we're working on getting a piece out now to cut out this section and continue on. So everything takes longer than you expect. You know, I had a very, very long weekend off of work. Thought we'd just knock it out quick and have some time to relax. Doesn't work that way. The walls took 2 full days. I figured, you know, we're just throwing boards on the wall. It'd be quick and easy, and that was, like I said, 2 days. By the time you get cutting all the lashing boards up or the slats up and cutting out for outlets and all that stuff, and then, like I said, framing. And then like framing I thought would be quick, and that took an entire day, and I really thought we'd be done yesterday and we'd be cleaning up today. But I have work tomorrow, back to the day job, so I do want to get this knocked out. So I'm gonna quit yakking and get after it. All right, all the full sheets are in. Temporary elevator installed. So we got to measure this end. It's a little wobbly still. I've only got a handful of screws and everything, and all the plywood. I think we're still going to do, like I said, corner braces, 45, and all the framing. So we'll see how it is after all the plywood's installed. So measure these out, and then it's just a matter of doing the strips down the side, and that's going to get a little tricky. You excited?
To be done, yes.
To be done, yeah. All right, get to it here. Last few boards going in here. So we were, because we had to set the post back a hair because of the doors, we were, I don't know, 18.5 at one end, 18 3/4 I believe at the other, and we're like 19 in the middle. So we just ripped these 4 down to 18.5. If it doesn't quite reach the outside of the edge, I don't care. So because it was easy enough with the skill saw, went ahead and cut this corner out. So get this one in place real quick, and then we'll move on to the other ones. I brought the jigsaw and square up because we'll have to cut these posts out individually. First board's in place. For the remainder of these, I think I'm just gonna kind of square them up. Come off the post here. draw me a rough line. So I can do this with minimal hands here. And like that. Sorry about the shadows. Oh, don't move. And I'm going to measure up. So we know these are right at 5.5 inches. If you can see that, I don't know. But we're also set back about 1/2 inch. I'm gonna go 5 1/4, just to have me give me a little bit of leeway here. Something like that. That. Alright, so something like that. I don't know if you can see that very well because of the shadow. Let me so I can move this over. Something like that. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'm going to cut to the kind of the outside of those lines. We'll cut. Try to do this one-handed. There we go. Should be able to just knock it back into place. Like that. So I lined it up centered on this one. I'm not sure how we got off a little bit, so probably have to just move this board over a hair. Not the end of the world. Fairly tight around there. And let's do the same thing 2 more times and we're done. Well, with plywood anyway. Fourth sheathing is finished. What a task. Well, almost finished. There's a few screws left to do. Use some extra 2x8s that we bought for just kind of a railing. Again, we're not 100% sure what we want to do in between yet. Maybe like some metal posts, or I don't know, some like 1980s lattice board. What do you think? She's not listening. Anyway. So I think from here, it's got a little bit of wobble to it. So take some cutoff boards that we have. We're going to cut some 45-degree angles and brace the framing underneath. Honestly, should have done that before we started the sheathing, but I was hoping to have all that done yesterday. So up here, other than a handful of screws, is all done. Let's finish this thing up. All right, for bracing, I ended up just cutting a bunch of these at 45, measured 6 inches or so on the short side. So something like that. We'll just do that on all the posts. Should brace it up nice. Got all our bracing in. A little bit of triangulation goes a long way. This thing is solid. So framing's all done, sheathing's all done, well, almost all done. Well, I guess framing technically isn't done either. Got a handful, we gotta go get a box or two of 3-inch screws, finish off the joist hangers, and we gotta finish up the screws up top and the plywood. And we've got a gigantic mess in this shop. So I think that's gonna do it for this video. Got all our walls up, which I'm super excited about. Got the loft up, which I'm super excited about. Again, we're not sure what we're gonna do as far as you know, spindles or whatever. I'm not sure. Find something, maybe we'll do something cool, maybe we'll do something just simple. Probably just simple because I'm over it. Still more to come. I got the elevator build I want to do sooner than later, but I got to gather materials. Got kind of an idea of what I want to do. Putting that into function is not always the easiest. So got to add some lights underneath still. Of course, we ran the wire for it. It's prepped. We just got to, I don't know, some LEDs, 8-foot LEDs or whatever. So other than that, that's it for shop updates at the moment. I don't know what we're doing next. I don't know if we're still waiting on parts on the Ford, so hopefully they show up. If I get stuff for the elevator, we'll do that next. We'll see. Tomorrow's back to the day job, so shop goes on hold for just a little bit. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.